The NFL playoffs have arrived, and there are two games, as you know, today. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a particular fan of either one of them. Now, also, to be forthcoming, if I wanted to make more money today for myself and for the company, of which, let's face it, I am the company, I would release one of the two games as a premium play for myself, Al DeMarco, today. And total disclosure for you, selling the NFL today makes about 10 times more money than selling college basketball. And I'm a capitalist. I'm not lying. I created these sites some 22 years ago. That's just the way it is. But it's not about making money. It's about winning money for myself and for my customers. And I'm just not a particular fan of either one of these games. I think the best bet is in college basketball today. And that's the direction I'm going, because I'm not about prostituting myself. I've never been about chasing the almighty dollar in this business. It's all about making money in terms of winning it for myself and winning it for customers. And that's why I'm giving away both games today here on the video report. I'm going to break down both of these games and also give you a couple of college basketball plays I like as well. Now, listen, if you're looking for the best bets in terms of who's got them today, FYI, look no further than a guy like Tommy Brunson, who's going for winning day number 9 out of 11. The guy's been red hot and has the second biggest play of his career going today, a rare 150 dime release, his first of the season. It's on the Chargers and the Jaguars. Or look to Matt Rivers, who has his fourth NFL max wager 100 dime play of the season. His last two, Jaguars over Houston a couple of weeks ago, and matches his 200 dime college bowl releases, which he hit both of them, Alabama in the Sugar Bowl and Mississippi State over Illinois in that, what was that called? The Relia Quest Bowl. Don't you just love all those wacky bowl game releases? You can get them. In fact, if you haven't taken advantage of the one-day free all-access pass, today is a good day to use it. You can get those two plays and all the plays of all the handicappers absolutely free. Yeah, free. One day free all access pass. Just head over to DeMarco's Sports. I think you can spell DeMarco's Sports. It is my last name. One day free all access pass. You get all the plays of all the handicappers absolutely free. If you were to pay for them today, it's $109. You get it for free. If you've never taken advantage of it, do so today. I think, a matter of fact, if you do it today, you also get a bonus day for free as well. The one day free all access pass. But again, my best bet happens to be in college basketball. So with that all being said, let's break down these games for you. I had the Jaguars last Saturday, and I've got to tell you, I was extremely disappointed in the way they played. They had a team, Tennessee, as their opponent that they had beaten the hell out of on the road when Ryan Tannehill was playing. They had a guy, Joshua Dobbs, quarterbacking Tennessee, who was on the Detroit Lions squad as a backup, right, just a month earlier, who was starting his second ever pro game, and Tennessee gave them all they could handle last week. The Jaguars were pathetic. Let's face it, if it wasn't for their defense delivering on that fumble return, they would not be in this position today hosting the LA Chargers. I have a hard time backing Jacksonville in this game, and that's why they were 2.5-point underdog. At the same time, I look at the Chargers and I go, what the hell were they thinking playing all their starters last week at Denver in a meaningless game? Their coach is a moron. And it cost them Mike Williams. A lot of people will look at that week 3 battle when the Jaguars went to LA and beat the hell out of the Chargers, 38-10. But let's go back and recall that Justin Herbert was playing with a rib injury, remember? Suffered in the Kansas City game the week prior when the Chargers gave the Chiefs all they can handle, and he shouldn't have been playing in that game either. Again, what does the Chargers coach think sometimes? It was a Chargers team that had not yet gelled. Prior to playing at Denver last week, the Chargers had been playing some good ball, 4 straight wins. But then I play devil's advocate with myself and I go, who did the Chargers beat in those 4 straight wins? They were playing a Miami team that was in the middle of a 3-game road trip, and the Dolphins weren't playing it well, and they never play well on the road. Then they took on Tennessee at home, and while you saw how the Titans clapped like a cheap suit down the stretch, then they won at Indianapolis. Big deal. You, me, and 9 other guys could have beaten the Colts down the stretch. And then they beat the Rams at home. Okay. So they won 4 straight. big deal. I am just so on the fence about this game. I think the Chargers can win the game. But then I go and I think about the Jaguars. And I think that they've got a Super Bowl winning coach in Doug Peterson. And they showed their mettle by winning, not metal, metal, MEDA, metal, METTLE. They showed they had some balls and they won last week. Okay. That's the bottom line. So I think Jacksonville can deliver here. And I like the Jaguars to win this game. Would I put my money on it? No, but I'm going to be watching it like you tonight. So I like Jacksonville plus the 2.5 points. And naturally, at 2.5, I'm buying up to 3. I'm buying that half point of Jacksonville with the line anywhere between 2.5 and 4 points. The game I like more, believe it or not, is San Francisco minus the 9.5 points at home against Seattle, because what has Seattle shown me at all this year in the second half of the season? Absolutely nothing. When I've got a San Francisco team that has won 10 straight games, a San Francisco team that is 10-1 against the spread in its last 11 as a home chalk, I mean, other than that near fatal collapse in overtime when they had to pull out the game against the Raiders, that defense has been absolutely incredible. I went back and I added up the points that the San Francisco defense allowed. And if you take away that Raiders game, that San Francisco defense, I think it gave up 112 points total in the 9 other games during that 10-game winning streak. Just an incredible run by that defense. And you look at the 2 results against Seattle this year. They won in week number 2, 27-7. They won in week number 5, 21-13. Brock Purdy, people will say Mr. Irrelevant, the guy was inexperienced, yada, yada, yada. But the guy has simply proven himself. And I think the game that this team, San Francisco, really rallied around Purdy when he showed what type of guy he was. Remember, he suffered the rib injury in the Tampa Bay win. And then the following week, 4 days later, they were playing at Seattle, and it was touch and go whether or not Purdy was even going to play in that game. And then he came out and he hit his first 11 passes. And for the game, he was 17 for 26, 217 yards and 2 touchdowns, and helped that Christian McCaffrey also carried the ball 26 times for 180 yards and caught 6 passes for 30 yards, and they won that game. That was the game that I think the 49ers really realized they had something with Purdy. It wasn't the win against Tampa Bay. It was really that game. And yes, he was 5-0 in the 5 starts that he made. But I go back to the game also that he replaced Garoppolo when Garoppolo left after the first offensive series. And you look in the 6 games that he basically played almost throughout. The offense scored 33, 35, 21 in the game at Seattle, 37, 37, and 38 points. That offense was cranking. And the offense got Deebo Samuel back at the end of the year, got Elijah Mitchell back in the end of the year in the game against Arizona. I just don't see Seattle stopping them. And I know it's going to be like a monsoon or something in San Francisco today, and actually Santa Clara. I'm not worried about it. I'm still going to go with San Francisco because the Seattle offense showed me absolutely nothing. And I don't think San Francisco's defense is going to let up, whether it rains or snows or it hails today. So I'm more than willing to lay the 9.5 points. Now, at that number, you don't have to do anything. But if that number goes to 10 or 10.5, this is one of those rare occasions I would personally go ahead and bet down and buy the half point. It paid off a couple of times this year, buying down the half point off the 10. And this is one of those rare occasions that I would actually encourage you to do so. A couple of college basketball games I want to talk about. First one is going to be Providence, a 7-point underdog at Creighton. Now, Providence has had a week off since beating St. John's last Saturday. This is the hottest team in the Big East right now. Well, actually, Providence and Xavier, because Providence has won 9 straight, and in that stretch, they've gone 4-0 on the road, winning by 14 at Rhode Island, 4 at Seton Hall, 20 at Butler, and 15 at DePaul. Creighton, this team looked like they maybe had turned things around after snapping that 6-game losing streak by scoring 3 straight home wins, beating Butler, DePaul, and Seton Hall. But then again, these are all bottom dwellers in the conference. Then they go to UConn. They lose 69-60, and that game really wasn't that close. Then they get into a scoring slugfest with Xavier on Wednesday night, losing 90-87. They were up by 6 with 9 minutes to play. And then the X-Men went on a 16-4 run to put that game out. They come back home. Yes, they're 7-1 at home. So I can see why this line is what it is. But you're telling me Providence can't cover that 7-point number in Omaha? Now, Providence starting point guard, Jared Bynum, is questionable for the game. He missed the game last week because of an abdominal injury. I know Providence has a big road game against Marquette coming up as well. But I would like to take the Friars here and look for them to stay within the number. I think that is a very strong play as well. I'm also looking at Syracuse minus the 6.5 points at home against Notre Dame. This is an Orange team that's on a 8-2 roll, a roll that began when they beat Notre Dame in South Bend 62-61, a game in which Jesse Edwards and Joe Girard had 42 combined points. Syracuse only shot 48% in that game, but misfired on 15 of 18 three-pointers. The way I look at it is I think Syracuse will continue to do well on the boards, but at home, they're not going to miss so many three-pointers, and they better not because Notre Dame is a very good three-point shooting team themselves. This Irish team is coming off a win, but they've still lost 6 of their last 8 games. They're only 2 victories, beating Jacksonville at home, and then Tuesday when they beat Georgia Tech by 1 at home in overtime. So I like the Qs in this one. Of the 2, I like Providence more. And in the 2 football games, I like the 49ers a little bit more than Jacksonville. So that'll do it for your Saturday free picks. I wish you well, guys, and talk to you again tomorrow.